All right, I'm also going to see if I can grab a chair. Chairs seem to be premium here. Actually, no, I realized something. I've got a portable, so I can sit and hang out over here and see what the feedback is. Now, I am technically here with Malachi Moore, but I'm not really because I'm doing this on the UBA, and Malachi's here with Bull TV. This is Gordon Pepper, and all I have to say is, wow. We just got done with the semifinals. Outrage defeated DC Mafia by 1 pin. And if you're saying to yourself, wait a second, overall total win doesn't matter in this format because the format's there, technically you are correct. Total win does not matter unless there is a complete tie on the points, which is exactly what happened. It was 12-9 on points from Outrage on the scratch side, 12-9 on points from DC Mafia on the handicap side. If Lee Holmes Jr. throws a strike, DC Mafia advances. Not only does he not throw a strike, he leaves a ridiculous split, and so therefore it goes to overall wood, which is won by Outrage by a pin. Now that everybody knows the rules, here's how this goes. But again, for everybody that's just tuning in, I'm going to repeat everything because you never know. We may have to do this again. Wouldn't that be fun to do this again?
Yes.
Okay, good. So here's how this works. There are 2 games that are being thrown. 1 game on the scratch side, 1 game on the handicap side. If a team wins both the scratch and the handicap, it's over. You don't have to go to bonus points. If there is a split and one team wins the scratch and one team wins the handicap, it does not go to total wood yet. It does go to the positionings of how well you bowl. So 6 points for first, 5 for second, 4 for third, 3 for fourth, 2 for fifth, 1 for sixth. Whoever gets more points out of that will advance. But in this case, it is not about advancement because this is the finals. So whoever has the most points, it is game, set, match, and more importantly, $10,000. Now, if there is a tie on specific place, then it goes to overall and total wood. So every pin is incredibly important, as we just witnessed in the semifinals, because Outrage won by 1 pin. They are going up against MOP Nation Militia, who also won via split decision. So now I believe everybody knows the rules, and here we go. And now we're starting. And we have Dennis Bissonette starting off on scratch, and he's probably scratching also. From MOP Nation, Ryan Bennett again starting over for Outrage. Here we go, one game to decide who wins $10,000. Brian Cavey again for Outrage. I'm looking here to see if there's any changes on Outrage's side since I called that side of the semifinals. There is not. So on Outrage, we've got Brian Bennett, Richard Jerome Jr., Hugh McGaney Jr. on the scratch, handicap, Brian Cavey, Reese Marsh, Jason Howard. On the scratch side for MOP Nation Militia, Dennis Bissonette Jr., Aaron Major, Paul Smith. Handicap side, Brian Oppie, Justin Urbano, Chris Larson. On the handicap side, MOP Nation Militia is getting 13 pins. And that, as we say, is that, and we already start with an open from Outrage on the handicap side. Scratch side, Richard Jerome Jr. is up. There's a strike. And all of a sudden, it's getting a little bit louder here. You would figure with less people it wouldn't get louder, but wrong. It is getting louder. Again, one game, $10,000 at stake. Gets a little crazy. Double wood over for Aaron Major. Right now, Outrage is starting, but nothing but strikes over on the scratch side. Handicap, we already have an open. So assuming that MOP Nation Militia fills frames, first frame in the handicap, they will take a quick lead and build on their already semi-small quick lead. Outrage right now, wall strikes on the scratch side. And again, just a reminder, it's not just about winning, it is about placement. So you're saying, well, you want to win as much as possible. Well, sure you do, obviously, but it's not. It is more important that all three bowlers win as much as they can over the opposing team. So right now, Justin Urbano's got a mini split. We have one open and 2 strikes over on Outrage's side. Urbano right now, that's a quick split that can be converted. However, Paul Smith with a split that is going to be a lot harder to convert. He leaves a 4-6. Starting over here, Dennis Bissonette with a very sloppy strike, but that looks good. It doesn't matter how the pins fall as long as they fall. MOP Nation right now has got a couple of splits they need to deal with. Justin Urbano is not going to make his, and Paul Smith is not going to make his either. So now an early lead on the scratch side for Outrage. Not an early lead yet on the handicap side because both teams right now have an open. Outrage with a slight advantage because they're starting with 2 strikes versus 1 spare. Well, now their pins advantage. Now Outrage is up on both. Another open. So right now, MOP Nation Militia, 1, 2, 3 potential opens in the first frame. Not looking very good. Brian Oppie right now. Oh, we almost had 4 opens over there by MOP Nation. We don't. We got an 8 pin. This is a makeable spare if you got the right angle, but he doesn't. Now again, understand, get the wood. However, and I know this is early, but I'm going to harp on this. Chris Larson over on the handicap side from MOP Nation Militia. Not MOP Nation Militia. Good. MOP Nation Militia. Good job, Gordon. Yeah, I'm tired. However, he's got 6. And it is important, again, because if there happens to be a split, it's going to depend on placement. And I say this like I'm a broken record because this is exactly what happened on the semifinals match. Right now looking for a spare. Got it. Brian Bennett with a spare. Now Mop Nation has got strikes all over the place in the second frame on the scratch side. KV right now. His ball is, I don't know what his ball is doing, but it's missing the head pin. KV looks like he needs a GPS at this moment. I'm not sure if that helps. I'll find out. So 3 strikes in a row for Mop Nation on the scratch side. We'll see what Outrage can do. Same shot, Richard Drum Jr. for Outrage looking for his first double. Does not look like he's got it. He doesn't. 10 pin. Meanwhile, Justin Urbano, 4 pin. KV looking to make the spare. I think he will. And he does. At least for KV, his ball is hooking and he knows how to usually make spares if he makes something that's leavable. Again, KV may need a GPS system. Ray Smarsh up for Outrage. Ray Smarsh has been in this position, many times. 3 times as a member of the Garden Foundation. A couple more times as part of Mop Nation Militia. Ray Smarsh, a new entrant into the Hall of Fame. And if you look over here, he's only adding to the resume, and you can see why he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Smarsh looking for the first double of anybody, and there it is. Ray Smarsh again showing why he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. There's a double. Larson looking make a strike here of his own. He won't do that. 7 pin. Double right now, U.B.A. Jr. Outrage right now up by 22 on scratch. And up by a little bit on the handicap, but not a lot. Jason Howard can change that here. If he throws another strike, they're up 5-2. And then all of a sudden, they're up by 20 pins on both sides. That being said, that doesn't happen. 2-4-8, that is a makeable spare. As Chris Larson makes his spare. Oppie with a 7-pin lead. Richard Jerome Jr. looking to double. I'm sorry, not double, get a strike. And he's happy there. Gets a strike. He says it is a delicious strike. You know, he did a advertising promo for the sports bar earlier. They have great ribs. We have a spare by Dennis Bissonette. Now, Mop Nation Militia has got 3 strikes in the second. They need to convert to double in the third. So far, they have not done that. And I say that because U.B.A. Jr. could convert on his, which again will start to give Outrage a bigger lead. Oppie right here, third frame, looking for his first strike. Actually, nobody on the handicap side for Outrage until that. I don't know what you call that. Has thrown a strike until now. Oppie with a strike. McGaney with a 2-4-7. So this is going back and forth. Neither team has figured out what the lane conditions are yet. KV will make a spare. 2 in a row for KV. Spares, that is. He's called Pumpkin Spice. I'm pretty sure I don't want to know what that means. Though right now, the way he's feeling, it could be Old Spice. Thank you here. I will be here all week, or at least all weekend. Justin Urbano looking for his first strike of this game, and that doesn't sound like he's got it, and he does not. He's got an ugly mess instead. Actually, the 9-pin goes down. All right, that's makeable. 7-pin. McGaney makes his. That will be 3 marks there. Mop already's got 3 marks on the board. They can make it 5 with a strike here from Paul Smith. Again, if they can convert, they can start at least cutting into Outrage's early lead. Speaking of which, that sounds funky for Ray, but he's out of trouble. Ray Smarsh, 3-6. Urbano's looking to make the spare. That ball looks like it will turn correctly. It will. It will do that. Meanwhile, Ray Smarsh is looking to make his mark in this game. Or in this case, his spare in this game. That would be his first spare. He started with a double. And he'll make the spare. Outrage right now. They are down by 2. And they will stay down by 2. Strike by Chris Larson. Jason Howard, if he can throw a strike, that'll keep them even 3 marks apiece on the handicap side. Then we'll move over to the 4th frame on the scratch side. Both scratch and handicap moving at around the same pace because they're going quickly and a lot of strikes thrown. 3 on 3 on the same side. That is a less than 10-pin lead. And we have Aaron Major using a word that I will not repeat here. But the definition is, yipes, I left the 7-pin. And you can figure out what that all means. Meanwhile, Ryan Bennett leaves the 2-4-7. Going back and forth over here. MOP Nation, of course, could have taken the lead with the strike, which is why we got that from Aaron Major. Instead, Outrage has a chance to build on their lead if Richard Jerome Jr. doubles. And they also have a chance to build on their lead if we get an open from Aaron Major, but they won't. Aaron will make the spare. Jerome's looking to double, and Bennett's looking to make the spare. Bennett does that. A double will increase the lead on the scratch side for Outrage, and we'll see if Richard Jerome Jr. does that. Meanwhile, a double on the handicap side over from Ryan Oppie. And MOP Nation is looking to try to get the lead back. Right now, lead held by Outrage, but not by much. Back and forth this match is going to go. Nobody really seems to have a complete grasp on what the line is. Now that I just said that, double from Richard Jerome. Very different contrast to what happened in the semifinals where everybody came out blazing. Finals right now, everybody's a little bit more tentative. That being said, there's Justin Urbano's first strike on the handicap side. And MOP Nation's razzing him a little bit for it, but all the pins go down, so it looks good. Ray Smarsh right now leaves a little mini bucket. He's not thrilled about that. 2 for a 5-8. Again, right now, I'm not really going to talk about placement until we get to the halfway mark. And to be quite honest, both matches are way too tight to call. Outrage is going to be up by around 20 pins in the scratch side. Handicap side, MOP Nation's going to be, I was going to say they're going to be up by the same amount, but I see a 1, 2, 4, 6, 10 big wash by Chris Larson. Larson quickly hasn't figured this out. Quickly, Ray Smarsh hasn't figured out completely either, but he's made a spare. Now, looking at the scores. Double from Jason Howard. And 4-3, Outrage will take the lead back in handicap. That is assuming that Larson does not make the spare, and he won't. U.B.A. leaving the 7-pin. We're going to stay in handicap momentarily here. See what Jason Howard does. He wasn't happy with that shot, but he was very happy with the result. 4-3 run for Outrage on the handicap side. They're going to go back and take the lead. Going back over to scratch. U.B.A. Jr. looking to make the 7. If he does, Outrage will take a little bit less than 10-pin lead. Actually, it'll be a little bit less than 20-pin lead. He will make it, and here we go. Right now, Outrage is up by 20 on both scratch and handicap. And we finally get a strike on the board by Brian Cavey. And everybody loves it, especially Cavey. I'm going to ask Cavey a couple of questions here. So I'm going to ask Brian a couple of questions since now this mic's portable and I can move around a little bit. Pardon me. Brian, I got to ask you something. You finally threw a strike. Does that mean you get rewarded with dinner?
Yes, I've been waiting for my dinner. That was the whole problem here.
Oh, that was the problem. You're not being fed well enough.
Now I'm good. Now I got some food in my system.
I'll be back here tomorrow after the series.
Okay. So I'm being held by Tom Twist. I got a message from him. So right now, we have, are they going to make this? No. So Brian Oppie right now with an 88 on the handicap side with J 104. And again, placement is important. Jerome Jr. now with the spare. Now, as you can see over here, you have the intensity that happened over the semifinals. Finals more of a gentlemanly, sounds like there's a fun matchup And I have a feeling that there may have been talk of a potential split, which, again, if you look at it, if you're splitting the money, that's a lot of money. So I can understand if the teams are going to split and you got 5,000 apiece. That being said, you're still playing for a title. And, again, one of the things that I know from Outrage is that they want the 3-set this year. And in order for them to get the 3-set, they need to win this. Jason Howard right now looking to add, and he will. There's another strike, 3 in a row. And I think if they did agree to a split, MOP Nation Militia is going to be very happy about that because they're falling apart here on the handicap side. You've got a mark of 4 with Outrage, who is already up by 40, and they're looking to blow this one open. Oh, almost made the spare. Does not. All right, so I think what's going to wind up happening, there's a emergency situation going on, so I may have to do double duty here and run both, which I think I'm going to do, which means I may.
I would not interview. You're going to have a lot of very negative things to say.
Volume's good, right? Okay. So right now we're doing 2 at the same time, and part of the reason is that there has been an emergency situation for Malachi, and I hope that everything is okay with everybody over here. We're going into the second half of our finals, and right now it has been all Outrage on the handicap side. For MOP Nation Militia to have any hope, they've got to be working on that scratch side. And right now they are not. It looks like they're up by 22. However, 2 of their bowlers have already gone. So technically, Outrage is still up by around 20 pence. And if it stays like this, and there's no reason to think why it won't, Outrage will have gotten 1/3 of that set, which is what they're looking for, which is 10K here. A lot of money on the uncapped. On the uncapped team event, which is going to happen tomorrow, and then the Wilder Trophy, should they win the Final Four, or one of their Final Four match on Saturday, and then win in the finals on Sunday. Now, and the other reason why I say if it continues like this, because let's just say there is a tie. MOP Nation happens to pull it out on the scratch side. With the demolition of what's going on the handicap side, and again, placement counts here. So right now, Outrage has got the first, the second, and the third spot on the handicap side. In order for MOP Nation to pull out the tie, they must have the first, second, and third highest score on the scratch side, which right now isn't happening. I mean, Ryan Bennett right now with an open. However, Richard Rome Jr. and U.B.A. looks like that they're going to be outpacing Small Smith. So basically, they need anybody on Outrage's side to do better than anybody on MOP Nation Militia's side. Richard Jerome with a strike here, but let's look at U.B.A. Jr. It's big with a double. So, that's the position that we're in right now. If U.B.A. Jr. shoots the double, and again, they're still up on scratch. So if Outrage wins on scratch, then positioning doesn't matter, points doesn't matter. And what we had during the semifinals, which was a very, very tight match, we are not going to have the finals, which is right now turning into a laugher, especially on the handicap side. So let's see what happens. Oh, I thought that was a double by Hugh, but it's not. We got a tip. Oh, my goodness. So, anyway, what's going on here? Somebody yelling, saying, somebody throw a bleeping strike. Oh, wait, it's Joey Naro. Hi, Joey. All right, nice for Joey to show up. If we can flip the camera over here. There's Joey Naro, and people are trying to point Joey in my direction because I'm talking directly to him. And I want Joey to come hang out over here. I'm going to give Joey a headset. This is going to be entertaining television at its finest over here, because not only are we going to be doing double simulcast with UBA and Bull TV, we're going to be doing it with Joey Naro as well. Hi, Joey. How you doing?
I'm great, Gordon. How are you? I'm actually really tired, but that's okay.
It's okay. So right now we have dual simulcast. I don't think this has happened in the history of the UBA, but hey, there's a first time for everything. Also, congratulations on MOP Nation Militia for getting to the finals.
Thank you. I was over at Bolero working, and I left them to handle things. Seems they handled things pretty well. I mean, hopefully we can get a run here, the last 5 frames, and get back in it. If not, it's a good run to get here. I mean, I'm proud of the guys for stepping up, which they always do anyway.
Yeah, they actually, if you just came in, Outrage won their match. And it was obviously they won. That's why they're here. But it was tied on points. It came down to overall wood. Outrage won by 1 pin on the overall wood. That is why they're here. MOP Nation had a much easier time of it. They did split, but they had the positioning points well in hand before that point. But yeah, 1 pin difference either way.
Yeah, I knew that we won. They told me that we won, and that was all I knew. I didn't hear any details or anything, so I was just happy with that.
Apparently so is MOP Nation Militia, because it looks like they're taking a siesta in the finals. What's going on here?
I just walked in. I don't know. You tell me what's going on here.
What's going on right here is that you got Justin Urbano with an 85 in, I believe, the 6th frame. So that's not very good. Right now, all 3 of them are getting pounded by Outrage, and for order for your team to have a chance at this, they've got to do the same, and all 3 of them need to be better than all 3 of Outrage on the scratch side. 2 of your bowlers are doing that. 1 of your bowlers is not. And if Paul Smith cannot beat any of Outrage and this stays the same, it is game over, and Outrage wins the title.
You know, Outrage is a great team. We've crossed paths before. I think we're 1-1. I think they beat us once. I know we beat them at Carolier a long time ago. They got a lot of the same guys, honestly, and they're just a very, very good team. And quite frankly, after bowling 150 in the quarters yesterday, I didn't think that we were going to get here. So I'm happy. I'm beyond happy. I'd like for us to keep, building a resume, continuing to be successful. We've got things like, the Hall of Fame in on your
agenda.
Our agenda, yes, thank you. And things like this will hopefully only add to that.
Well, let's put it this way. One of the things that I spoke to Paul Smith about during the interviews before the match. Last year, you guys learned a lot, and I mean a lot, from coming down here. And it's been evident this year, the growth that you guys had, the jumping that you guys had, as you said, you're going to make some nice coinage out of this just by getting to the finals. And other bowlers, because I've seen what they've been bowling at Battle Bowl, much better now than they did. Next year, is that the year that you guys take the next step?
I mean, we try.
You guys took a big step this year.
Yeah, we try to step a little bit every year. And you're absolutely right about last year. We got our doors blown off, let's be honest about it. And we had one team win the franchise trios last year, but other than that, we didn't show up much at all. This year, we've got a lot more going on, a lot more better bowling, a lot more showing up. So, yeah, I mean, hopefully next year, maybe grab a major or get back into the conversation for winning our district, because, second every year, it's a nice little bit of coin, just like second here is a nice little bit of coin. But, I mean, we'd like some trophies or, some more banners, too.
Nothing wrong with banners. You got an Elite 8 win from last year. Why not get more?
Right. I mean, we have a couple of district titles going back. But, let's start adding to that again. We might, I don't want to say retool. We've got plenty of talent. Our guys are all, and our girls as well, we're all family. We all get along real well. The chemistry is great. But, every team needs a tweak here, a tweak there. So, maybe we add a couple of pieces, and that helps get us over the hill.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say retool at all. I would say maybe retinker. Maybe like just making one of those turns of the wrench a little bit. Maybe get a re-wrenching going on. Maybe it's just like a different bowling ball, a different look, a different whatever. That's there. I mean, you're right there, to be quite honest. As you've said, you finished in second at everything. You're still making a lot more money than what you put in.
Oh, right. Yeah. I mean, so great. We're making money. That's part of the plan. It's a good thing for us. But like I said, we want to add to the resume, and we've got things on our agenda that I don't want to say need to check off, but we're getting to a point where we know we're successful every year. We want to be a little more than successful. We want to do what Outrage is doing. We want to do what DGF did, what was it, 4 years ago, and I know you know all about that. So
I do indeed.
It's a little tinker, like you said, and to get us to that next spot. And we've got plenty of guys. The guys that are here are plenty talented, strike plenty, and it's just it's just getting past that spot that we're at now, or that rut that it's not a rut. I mean, finishing second isn't a rut, right?
I wouldn't consider that a rut at all. I would say it's a very successful season. Now it's just, you're like at the precipice. That's what I would say. You're at the precipice, and now you need that extra oomph to get you over it.
Right. It's just getting over that spot. Exactly.
Okay, so while we're chatting right now, let's sort of chat with everybody and see what we're doing over here. Scratch is still very close. It looks like right now MOP Nation still has the lead. They're up by around 25. On the handicap side, Outrage well in control. And again, the bigger issue that MOP Nation has is that they've got two bowlers that are doing, yuck. I believe that would be the correct phrase, would be yuck.
I mean, you can say they're bowling like Joey did last night. It's okay. We can all be honest.
I was not going to go there.
We're all friends here. We can all be honest with one another. They're bowling like Joey did last night. And they held me up last night, so...
Well, no, I can't even say they're bowling like you did. You shot a 150. Two of your bowlers are going to need marks to beat you on that. So they're making you look real good with that 150 at this moment.
I mean...
One of them may not get to a 150 with handicap.
Oh, yeah. All right, let's leave that alone.
So let's see. So handicap side again now. Believe it or not, even though this looks like a blowout, now I got to figure out the points here. Because, well, I mean, it's not much in terms of the points. Paul Smith is looking very good. So is everybody else. Your biggest problem, if I should say anything, is Rich Jerome. Because, again, as I said, MOP Nation's got to sweep on Scratch because it looks like they're going to get swept on handicap. Richard Jerome Jr., if he goes out the door, it's a 259. That is guaranteed to beat at least two of MOP Nation, and in that case, it will be over.
Correct. So I guess, much as I like Rich, I guess I'm hoping he doesn't throw the first one.
You're hoping that he takes a trip to the Episcopalian Palace, a.k.a. the Greek Church.
I wasn't going to go that far, but...
But you need him to.
Yeah, correct.
Or go golfing and go 4.
Wouldn't be the first time I yelled 4 on a telecast. So.
Yeah, I was going to say, so unfortunately, I do have to mention this for television purposes here. So Brian Oppie only finishes 74 fins under his average with a 169 with handicap and a 153 scratch. Did you at least beat the 153?
I barely beat the 153, yes. But when I was bowling the 159 last night, he was bowling 230. So, it...
Yeah, but you beat him now, though.
Well, yeah, correct. I beat him.
And if Justin opens, you're going to beat him also.
That's also correct.
Even if Justin marks, you still may beat him based on count.
So now here's the thing. We're all staying in the same house. So I should stop because I don't want to get beat up in my sleep or anything tonight.
You don't want to see going 1, 2. Freddie's coming for Joey.
Oh, correct. 3, 4. I better lock my doors.
Yeah, 3, 4. Lock your door. 5, 6. Call Motel 6. Stuffing like that. So all right, now it comes down to Richard Jerome because. We're looking at this. 187 is obviously not going to beat anybody on Ryan Bennett's side. So now it's going to come down to Richard Jerome, and he's got to Richard Jerome, and he's got to beat somebody. Dennis finishes with a 229. Scratch side, no problem for MOP. Problem handicap side, and I mean major, big problem. All right, here's Richard Jerome. He consults away the game for Outrage, and it looks like he's going to.
Nice shot, Dick.
Well, that is sort of Richard's slang name, but I'm not going to be mentioning that on either broadcast, what he's being called right now. I'll just say Mr. Nixon, and I will just end it with that. But yeah, that effectively should end the game, assuming that the Gutter Monster doesn't come out and go, this looks tasty.
Yeah, that's about all we've got.
That's all you have now.
That's all we've got.
Because let's put it this way, that garbage 213 with handicap is still going to be better than anything that MOP's going to put up on the board on the handicap side. The best that MOP can do with handicaps at 206. And it looks like, again, Outrage all over that, all three guys, which means that MOP's got to take all three guys on the scratch side, and as we already mentioned, that will not happen. Richard Jerome Jr. is going to finish in the 250s. And that will be good enough. Actually, that will be good enough for first. Out of everybody, 259. So, looking over here, I'm waiting for the scores to come in just for the official, unofficial results. So you're going to have 6. Well, the final point total really is going to depend on what Hugh does. But I'll tell you, obviously, right now, the game's over. Everything is over at this point.
Yeah, that handicap pair is not looking...
That handicap is looking... No, it does not.
Aside from Jason Howard. And he strikes anywhere, so...
Jason Howard will strike anywhere.
I saw him strike a bit at Nationals, too, a few weeks ago. He strikes everywhere. Speaking of striking everywhere.
Yeah, that strike from Hugh, and that actually I'm trying to figure out, did Outrage win scratch? They may have stolen scratch, in which case I don't. It's good that I don't have to care about points and tiebreakers or anything else. Because it will be over, because if you win both the scratch and the handicap, actually, I don't know yet. It depends on what Paul Smith does. Now, if Paul Smith opens, that sort of ends my misery, and I don't have to do any math whatsoever. And, of course, he's not. He's going to make my life miserable and throw a strike, and yes, he will.
I had to do a bolero. You do some math now, too.
Oh, make me do math. Boo! All right, so let's see. And what makes it worse is that if Hugh goes out the door, it's a 224, which, of course, is going to tie. So now we have half points. Thanks for dealing with the half points, buddy. Even though I had to do very, very quick math over in the semifinals. So let's see, what do we have here? Actually, my math's going to be real simple. So we have a tie. So we have a 205 on the handicap. And they're already over that. So we've got the maximum over on Outrage's side. So they win 15-6.
Quitter.
Which means, as I said before, in order for this to happen, somebody on scratch nobody on scratch needs to beat anybody, and that obviously is not going to happen. Richard Jerome Jr., 259. That's good. 6 points there. Second place is there. That's 6. That's 5. 4, 3, that'll be 3.5, 3.5, 2, and 1. So we have 6, 3.5, and 1. That's 10.5 points over there. And, of course, that more than wraps it up. Congratulations to Outrage. They will have 1/3 of the 3-setter. They will win the Brawl for it all. Your thoughts, sir?
You got to give credit where it's due. Outrage, like I said, great team. Another great performance from them. We've got the singles for all of us to bowl tomorrow. We've got the uncapped to bowl tomorrow. So, we finished second in the uncapped last year. Actually, that was the Outrage too, wasn't it?
Yes, it was the Outrage also.
Yeah. So
surprise.
Right. So let's go get a win in the uncapped tomorrow. I mean, what can you do? Back to the drawing board, and we'll come get them tomorrow.
All right. Thank you so much. I wish you good luck.
Thank you, sir.
Now, I'm going to have to do 2 interviews because usually I would go out in the lanes for UBA, and I would grab somebody over here for Brawl TV. So now I got to do both. Let's see. Let's grab Rich Jerome Jr. So let's see if I can grab him. Hold on 1 second. Ray, can I have Rich Jerome Jr., please? So we're in the middle of queuing Rich Jerome over here. By the way, if you just turned in and expected something exciting and amazing going on, you didn't get it. In the finals, you had the amazing fun stuff in the semifinals. Outrage by 1. This one, not so much. Outrage pretty much ended it very quickly on the handicap side. Scratch side, they did just as much to win. That is a sweep, and that is it. And I'm going to see if I can get some closing thoughts here and some closing interviews before we sign off. All right, so we're still rolling. We're going to try to get somebody from Outrage over here. So hold on. Ray! If I can't get Rich, I'm going to get you. All right, I'm going to give you a headset. And you can chat with me momentarily. That'll be great. Here you go. So we're actually doing this simulcasting here on 2 different sets. So first of all, I'll stand up here because I'll be sort of close to your height, but I'll need an extra 1.5 feet. Anyway, Ray, congratulations.
Thank you, Jordan. I appreciate it.
Hey, once again, another interview.
Yeah, I like the redundancy. It's one good thing to keep being in this position.
There you go. So, again, congratulations on this. It's a nice chunk of change. I'm looking over here with the change being counted. So that looks very, very nice. Now, how does it feel to, again, have 1/3 of what I was being called by Outrage the 3 set? 1/3 done. 2/3 to go. Well,
I mean, we started out this season with a number 1 goal in mind, which we're still going to be working towards tomorrow night. This is the second time that UBA has run the Brawl, and we won it both times. So that's a nice feather having, teams going into the Hall of Fame tomorrow, deservedly so.
Some guy named Ray also.
Yeah, I mean, if I don't get myself thrown out for yelling at everybody like I was before, but we'll leave that alone. Yes, so that'll be an honor as well. But it's always a pleasure to bowl with these guys. The guys on MOP are great bowlers, are good guys, and it was fun. I mean, it's an interesting format where you feel like you are losing, but you're winning, and it could change real fast, and total pins don't matter, but then they do matter. It's an interesting setup when you're used to the, every month you bowl the same 10, 10, 10, and 10 for total wood, and you do that over and over and over again. It's nice to have something different.
So let's look ahead, because you got a couple of things that you got to be looking ahead to. Number 1, I'm assuming you're going to be in the uncapped squad.
Yeah, I'll be in the uncapped squad. I mean, you're going to see the same 6 people you see here. And then, we've won it the last 2 years, so you're going to see pretty much the same lineup. We happen to be pretty comfortable in this building, so we have a few lefties that like to strike, and it makes up for some of our right-handed boo-boos, and we get through.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that handicap. It seemed like I could have called the struggle bus to come pick everybody up. What the heck was going on there?
Well, I mean, that pair, these are pairs that we're getting oiled over and over and sitting around, and I mean, it's people been bowling here since 9 o'clock this morning, and they're pretty bad out there. I mean, it wasn't a very high-scoring pair, and it was just kind of, I didn't have an open, but I only bowled 190. It was just a matter of staying out of your own way.
One of the things that's impressive that Outrage is really good at is you don't beat yourselves. And when it's a grind like this, it's almost you guys are always going to have the advantage because of how technical you are. You don't let that stuff get you mentally. You're just like, all right, fine, I guess I'll go make the spare.
Well, I mean, I bowled on 2 teams in this organization. It's pretty much the same thing for both. Guys that bowled on DGF, guys that bowl MOP, guys that bowl on Outrage. They bowl pretty much every weekend somewhere on some type of condition, and they might not look like the best bowlers, but they know how to kind of grind if they need to try to bowl a 190, and that's what Brian and I did. And Jason had a good look on the left, and he bowled a 230, and the rest is history. Rich bowled a great game, 250. That was good.
Something else I want to bring up since you're here, and let's talk about tomorrow. Let's talk about the big elephant in the room in the form of Murder Inc. That versus that, I already think that's going to be the match of the year. That may be the match of Battle Bowl. There's a lot on the line. There's a lot of history on the line. You're looking at two teams that have won the last two Wilder Cups. Talk to me about that.
Well, I mean, being as I'm from the New Jersey Northwest, my previous team, I bowled Murder Inc. a lot of times. So I'm not going to be, it's not going to be any different trip for me. Outrage has been through the worst, so they're going to be prepared for it. They want to, like I've said before, I think Outrage and DGF are the two best teams that have ever been in the organization. I'm sure there's other teams that might think they are. Murder Inc. probably thinks that they should be in that conversation. So if they're able to do what they think they can do, maybe they'll be in that conversation. But we're looking to be on lanes 13 to 18 on Sunday, as I told you the other day. That's our goal when we came in. So the Morgue team gave us a great, I don't even know why I forgot their name, but they bowled great. I mean, they never backed down. They hung in there. The handicap 3 pair, put up a big game, big run. And it was a good match. That could have went either way. Any of these matches go either way. It's just a matter of having the ability not to fold under pressure, and hopefully we don't do that tomorrow.
There you go. Now, I know that people want to go grab a picture with your team, which is well-deserved. So, last question, any shout-outs, anything you want to say? Any final words?
I'm looking forward to getting home, seeing my wife and kids in my bed. There's my shout-out.
There you go. Shout-out to Race March's bed. Ray, again, congratulations. So, again, double simulcasting here, your final. And I will just say it in the words of Murder Inc., because we'll be seeing a lot of them tomorrow. Outrage, a lot. MOP Nation, not so much. And with that, congratulations to Outrage for winning the Brawl. Now, the question is, can they win more? We will find out within the next 48 hours. And again, this ends a crazy day of commentating. It was a lot of fun. Again, thanks again to Malachi Moore, Sean Knight Thason, Cletus Chitlin Juice, or Jeff Lewis, and Michael Shaw. And if I missed anybody, Tony Nieves is camera guy, Jason Thomas from Brawl TV. Again, thanks, everybody. You were great. And again, we got 2 more days of this to go. It's only going to get crazier. Saturday is going to be a lot crazier, but we will get there after you get done with tonight. For Brawl TV, for the UBA, for everybody watching, this is Gordon Pepper. Thank you so much for listening and tuning in. Your final here. Outrage wins the Brawl. Your final 4 in the Elite 8 are Outrage, Murder Inc., Exit Wounds, and G-Town Heavy Hitters. This is Gordon Pepper. Have a great night. UBA all day.